I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, it's Monday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. We're very grateful that you are choosing to spend a little bit of your lunch hour with us here on 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, you can stream us anywhere you go on the Odyssey app. We have a guest that I want to get to right away. But before we do, we are watching a story unfold in Nashville, Tennessee. There are 3 students that have been killed at a school. The shooter is dead as well. It's Nashville's Covenant School. According to Fox News, first responders in Tennessee are on the scene of a school shooting at Nashville Elementary School. 3 students were killed in the attack, and police say officers engaged with and killed the shooter. Covenant School is a private Christian institution for students up to 6th grade. So we are going to watch as news unfolds here and bring that to you as it happens. And, I'm going to get straight to our guest here because the question that I was going to ask Marc Lotter, the Chief Communications Officer at the America First Policy Institute, is what's really on the ballot come 2024? Of course, there's a lot of big personalities. But, Marc, thank you for being on the show today. I think this issue unfolding in Tennessee really shows how broken our society is culturally. I don't know if politics can fix it, Marc, but there's a lot at stake right now for Americans living in this country, seeing these events unfold again and again.
Yeah, and thanks for having me back, Annie. I know it's been a while, but you really got to wonder, what goes through someone's head that, walks into a school and starts shooting up, at a school involving 6th grade, where the oldest is, 6th grade.
Yeah.
And obviously, we need to figure out what happened, what the motivations were, and, was there any telltale signs that we could have seen? Was security in place? Obviously, great work by the police to take the shooter down. But then I think to your broader question, and it kind of segues into what I read this morning. I don't know if you've seen this story. It's kind of all over the news right now, that this story that broke from the Wall Street Journal about a poll, and not about a poll about who's up, who's down, who's winning, who's running, who's not. It showed that Americans' faith in patriotism, religion, even having children, is at the lowest level it's been since they started this polling back in 1998. I mean, in 1998, it said 62% of Americans considered religious faith to be very important. Now it's down to like 38%.
Yeah.
Patriotism was at 70%. That's pre 9/11. Patriotism was at 70%. It's down below 40%. And I think when we lose faith and we lose the feeling of community and the feeling of country, then I think what you see is the awful, tragic side effects of things like this today.
We're speaking with Marc Lotter about this tragedy unfolding in Nashville, Tennessee. The shooter at the school has been shot and killed, and we know of 3 children who are dead. We don't have a whole lot of details after that. We'll get to those details as they unfold. But Marc, I listened to what you're saying about that poll, and I had heard about it, and it just is heartbreaking for me because I'm raising 4 children. I've got a 13-year-old all the way down to and not almost 2-year-old right now. I've got a lot invested in the future of this country. And when we talk about politics, every step we take closer to this November 2024 election, it's just going to get more tenuous with each and every step. And so the more close we get, the more negative it gets. How do we turn this into a positive?
Well, I think we've had negative campaigns for since the beginning of our founding, and they weren't maybe necessarily blasted on into our conscious like they are now, but they've always been a part of how the political process has worked its way out. But the one thing, I go back to the 70s and Jimmy Carter. Our country was economically failing. It was a laughing stock on the world stage. You had, obviously the hostages in Iran. You had all of these bad things going on, and they were some of the darkest times. We had the energy crisis. People couldn't afford to get mortgages, and I was just obviously a young kid at that time. But one thing I learned, and then obviously learned it through history and doing what I do, was that we didn't lose faith. And because even at the darkest time of the 70s, we got Ronald Reagan out of it.
Yeah.
We got the great communicator. We got the guy who put America back, made us proud again, made us great the first time. And so, yeah, it's this primary is probably going to be ugly. And that's the way primaries often go. But once we get through all that, and whoever comes out, I'm not going to, obviously, I'll let everyone make their own minds up. But once we come through it, let's remember that we've got better days ahead. The key is to get rid of the problem, which is the current administration, and get back to those policies that worked, that put America first, did the energy, got us, we were strong on the world stage, and having hope that we can embrace the greatness of America again.
So Marc Lotter with us right now. You've worked very closely with the Trump-Pence administration. You are now the Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute. I want to highlight that word policy because there's going to be a lot of personality that is discussed. There's going to be a lot of personality that's shown in the next few months here. However, I think that the message behind what conservatives have to offer this country with that America First mentality can show itself through policy. And having you on here gives us an opportunity to showcase some of those policy changes that we could make. What policies do you see being at the forefront of what American voters are most interested in?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, it's been true for 30 plus years. It's the economy, stupid. But I think a subset of that right now is dealing with the out of control inflation. And to do that, the quickest, fastest way we can do it. In fact, the great Larry Kudlow, you see him on Fox all the time. He's the vice chair of the America First Policy Institute. He says this all the time. If you want to bring down inflation, the quickest and easiest way to start tackling it is to get America energy independent again. We've got to deal with the out-of-control oil prices, gas prices, electric prices, natural gas. And we're actually going to have an event tomorrow here at AFPI. You can watch it online with Leader Scalise. And the House is going to vote on H.R. 1. The most important piece of legislation, because it's number one for House Republicans, is going to come up on Thursday, the Low-Cost Energy Act. And it's going to contain a lot of the things that we've stated, because to your point, Andy, what we all know, I mean, as we get closer to 2024 and we start to engage in that, the personalities will be different. And the rhetoric will be slightly different, depending on the person. The policies are all going to be the same. They're all going to be running on the exact same policies. They're going to be running on the Trump policies because they worked.
Right. And
whether it's securing the border, whether it's lowering energy costs, whether it's a strong economy, whether it's a strength, America first around the world, it worked.
It did. And Americans of all walks of life are really remembering that. And, depending on what they felt about Donald Trump, I had plenty of people who were in my life who were not Trump supporters, not even Republicans, who would say, man, my 401k looks pretty good right now. And of course, we know how that's going for a lot of people at this point in time. You mentioned the border. President Biden from the POTUS Twitter account this weekend tweeted, MAGA House Republican proposals would slash funding for border security, a move that could allow nearly 900 pounds of fentanyl into our country. We need more resources to secure the border, not less. From the POTUS Twitter account, that feels a whole lot like propaganda to me.
It's pure propaganda. It's also pure fiction. I mean, let's remember that it was this president who had the playbook and the most secured border in generations, and undid every single one of those policies. And so here's the thing where you got to give them credit. I mean, because they are weaving fictional tales that I'm not even sure they believe themselves. They'll call for a budget increase for Border Patrol and say it's to secure the border. But what they won't tell you is it actually isn't. It's actually just to do more processing centers and get more people bus trips into the middle of the country, because they don't want to stop people from coming in. They just want to get them processed quicker and get them into the country, as opposed to saying don't even come here in the first place. And so, this administration has done everything humanly possible to dismantle and do the exact opposite of everything that the Trump-Pence team did. And now they're actually starting to realize that they've got a problem on their hands after denying it for 2.5 years. But the American people aren't that stupid. I mean, they see what's going on at the border.
Yeah, they know. And it's every state is a border state right now. We're in Missouri here in St. Louis. We are, a stone's throw away from the state of Illinois. You couldn't have more drastically different thoughts and opinions on immigration and sanctuary states and so on and so forth between that red state and blue state. But we have gang activity here. We have a massive amount of drugs right here in this area. And for the Biden administration, I go back to what he said about that woman who lost her child to fentanyl. When Joe Biden responded to that, he responded to say it was Trump's fentanyl, and then he chuckled. I mean, that I can't even stomach understanding making that kind of statement in my mind.
No, and it just shows you how disconnected they are. I mean, they view everything in terms of red, blue, Trump versus Biden. You know, which state are you in? I mean, look what's going on in East Palestine, Ohio. You know, would that have been going on if that was in a blue state? No, you'd have known. You know, Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete would have been there. You know, the federal stuff would have been there. You know, yet the vice president and president can both travel out of the country this week. Because I think Biden was in Canada and Harris is off to Africa, but they can't even make a stop in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell you about the way this administration views the people that disagree with them? And God help you if you're a parent, because then you're a domestic terrorist.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they got an answer for everything, a political answer for everything, but they don't have a solution for anything. And Americans are understanding that and knowing that. And, you know, depending on who the Republicans put up, maybe some Democrats are going to be willing to cross the aisle. But I think that it's going to have to be the policies that really cut through this time around to make sure that people understand the dichotomy of what they are voting for and what they are voting against. Another thing that President Biden has recently flipped the script on and tried to, through his words, really propagandize the idea of who supports police and who wants to defund the police. I mean, how stupid do they really think that we are?
Right. I mean, this is an administration that actually, between the vice president and their campaign officials, were bailing out the rioters in the summer of 2000 to go back on the street and commit more violence and crimes. And yet they are the ones of the defund the police movement who now dare say it's the other side that's doing it. I mean, whatever comes out of either of their mouths, just assume that it's actually we are the ones who support it and they're the ones who've actually done it. But the one thing, you know, to give you going back to the giving you hope, you know, at the America First Policy Institute, we are often joked at, you know, is that we're the Trump administration in exile. We have like 10 former cabinet secretaries, 20 White House senior officials. So we are blessed in that respect. But we've put together kind of the policy booklet. It's called the America First Agenda. And when we pulled those 10 pillars of things that people wanted, it was 80% approval plus. Wow. Not just Republicans, not just MAGA, not just conservatives. I mean, it's things that 80% of the American people say, I want lower gas prices. I want lower energy or American energy dominance. I want to secure the border. Let's go back to peace through strength. Yeah, parents should be respected and be heard in their kids' schools. This is not rocket science.
No.
So if we go out there and we keep talking about the policies, keep talking about the things that we know the American people want, yeah, there will be some personality involved, but I think we can start to bring people back to go, you know what, this craziness we've got going on right now, it's not working.
Right. It's, you know, the America First idea is making common sense common again, and being able to put these messages out there so people still consume politics as something that actually is supposed to be affected through policy. Like the idea of being able to call scoreboard and say, look at how we have won doing this. That America First agenda has that ability. I like what you said, that America First policy, whoever, there's several people going to be on the primary stage right now. Of course, we assume more are going to get on it. You feel confident that the America First policy effort is going to be the winning policy effort for whoever that nominee might be?
Yeah, I do, because I really don't think, and I think it's hilarious, and we've seen a few instances of it in the mainstream media when they will try to corner one of the candidates and say, well, how do you differ with another one of the candidates or the leading candidate, as you would assume, and they really can't from a policy standpoint, because there isn't a difference in policy, and they think this is a bad thing. It's like I think it's a good thing. Now, it might be a little bit tougher for primary voters to say, well, they're all supporting the same policy. The question is, who do I like the best, or who do I think is going to do the best job? You know, all those other reasons. But the policies are going to be there.
Right.
And once we get through this primary fight, and yeah, they can be messy, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. You'll have a nice little line to toe the entire time.
I'm sure, but but once we get through it, then all of a sudden everyone unites around that person, and that's what we need to do. By the way, we need to unite behind whoever comes out, and then take the battle to the current team, because the one thing that's different that no one wants to talk about, and I was on the 2020 campaign, as you know. Joe Biden was a hypothetical president then. He didn't have a record. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a record as vice president. You can't go back to his Senate record from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
He conflicts most of
nobody
it.
Cares about that.
He's conflicted himself for a lot of the time he's spent in office.
But guess what? He's not hypothetical anymore, and he has a record, and it's not a good one, and you run against it, and you can contrast that record with the record people remember from when the last time we used these America First principles.
Yeah. Well, we are going to continue to watch what the America First Policy Institute is putting together and putting out there. I encourage people to go to americafirstpolicy.com. Marc Lotter, thank you so much for the time today. We would love to have you back again soon because there's certainly going to be a lot to talk about with each passing day.
Anytime. Always happy to be with you.
Thank you so much. We are going to shift gears here, and we're going to push off a break a little bit, and we are going to go to Don Aaron, who is speaking right now in Nashville. He's the Nashville PD Public Affairs Director. Let's listen in.
About the fire department's actions in regard to this morning's call. This is going to be a brief update as to what has occurred. There will be more from this spot later in the morning with Chief John Drake and others. At 10:13 this morning, the police department received a call of an active shooter inside Covenant School, Covenant Presbyterian Church. The police department response was swift. Officers entered the first story of the school, began clearing it. They heard shots coming from the second level. They immediately went to the gunfire. When the officers got to the second level, they saw a shooter, a female, who was firing. The officers engaged her. She was fatally shot by responding police officers. There was a 5-member team who was on the second floor at that time. 2 individuals from that 5-member team opened fire on the shooter. We know at this point that this shooter is a female. She appears to be in her teens, although her identification has not been confirmed at this juncture. We know that she was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles and a handgun. We are efforting now to identify her. She entered the school through a side entrance and traversed her way from the first floor to the second floor, firing multiple shots. We now know that there are 3 students who were fatally wounded, as well as 3 adults inside the school. We are working to identify those victims. Including the shooter, a total of 7 persons were killed as a result of this morning's incident at the school. By 10:27, the shooter was deceased. The officers had engaged the shooter by 10:27, and she was deceased. Again, I said the first call came in at 10:13 this morning. We'll have more details to give you later in the morning. Chief Drake will be here in a bit. Now, Kendra Loney from Nashville Fire.
Fire department crews are dispatched for active shooter incidents as well, for medical support, but also for an RTF response, which is a rescue task force response to go in alongside of MNPD response. Our crews were right there on the scene to provide medical aid to any survivors, but also be there for victims so that we could try life-saving efforts in this case. So we went in as soon as it was safe for our responders to do so, to try to provide life-saving efforts for those that were impacted by this incident and this tragedy. Our crews were able to be on scene to pull out those that had viable signs of life, those that were still showing the option to be saved. And we did make transport of 3 individuals and 3 children, and then 2 adults that were taken from the scene. Our crews then set up a reunification unit. That reunification unit is at 2100 Woodmont Boulevard. That's where parents can go to be reunited with their children. All of the remaining students were able to be escorted out of the building with faculty and staff. We're not sure about the processes that they had in place, but we were on scene to help help them mitigate anyone from seeing exactly what else was going on, but we're sure that they heard the chaos that was surrounding this. So we do have mental health specialists and professionals that are at that reunification site for both the students and the families that are going to be affected by this today. Our OEM units were able to provide buses to make transport from the Covenant School to the reunification site. We had one bus that carried 74 students and faculty staff members to the reunification site, and an additional bus that had 34 students on them. So all of those persons were carried. It was difficult for us to kind of identify who was just there as part of staff for the church versus who was there for the school, because it's all housed in one building. But at this time, we were able to get that number of persons transported out of the building and into that reunification site. So that is where parents can go to be reunited with their students. There is a hotline being set up for parents to call, but right now that is where they should go, 2100 Woodmont Boulevard, which is Woodmont Baptist Church. Additionally, we do have a debriefing site set up for on-staff or personnel who are working this incident, and there are mental health professionals set up there for them as well. There was one police officer that was injured with a hand injury as a result of making an attack on this incident. But other than that, there have been no additional injuries to first responders or personnel responding to this. And as Don mentioned earlier, we will have further updates coming later on in the afternoon.
So on a typical day, there would be about 209 students inside the school and approximately 40 to 50 staff members, about 42 staff members. I'll take just a couple of questions before we go back.
So the 7 dead, and then the nature of injuries, how many injured do you know? That maybe are being treated still, or injuries? I know first responders were. But...
An officer had a wound from cut glass. That is the only other injury that I'm aware of.
Do we know if the injuries to the students were critical or in a condition?
The 3 students are deceased. The 3 students who were shot are deceased. 3 staff members who were shot are deceased. That's a total of 6 victims. And then you have the shooter who was engaged by 2 of our police officers, part of a 5-member team, and she is deceased, for a total of 7 individuals. There are no other gunshot victims, non-lethal, that I'm aware of at present.
Do you know how many people were shot? Do you know how many people were shot before the police engaged the shooter?
No.
Do you know if they shot anyone after they engaged the shooter? Do you know if the shooter was able to shoot anyone else?
We do not know who she is at this juncture. We're trying to identify her. She does appear to be in her teens. Again, with 2 assault-type rifles and at least 1 pistol. No, I'm not.
Was there an SRO or an SSO working at the school?
No, this is a church that operates a private school. There was no Metro Police personnel assigned to that building at any time.
Do you know if either the 2 adults that were shot maybe confronted the gun?
You said 2?
Yeah, the adults.
No, there are a total of 3 adults. 3 adults who have been fatally wounded.
Okay, one of them being the shooter?
No.
Okay, 3 adults.
So let me go over this again. You have a total of 6 victims, 3 students who are deceased, and 3 adult staff members from the school who are deceased. The shooter herself makes 7.
Do you know if one of the 3 adults maybe confronted her?
I do not.
Were they teachers?
There is video from the school that we are viewing now to try to learn exactly how all of this happened.
Can you say where the victims were located? Were they in the hallway, in the classroom?
I cannot at this juncture. As you know, 5 of the 6 were transported. So we will get that information later in the day.
Did police engage with the shooter inside a classroom or in the hallway in a location?
It is an upper level part of the school. It's kind of a lobby type area. It was not in a classroom per se. All right, we'll be back shortly with more detail. We'll tweet out, give you a 15-minute or so notice before the next one, okay? Thanks.
Okay, we were listening
Aren't you
to.
guys tired of covering this?
There's a woman who's going to speak here. We're going to listen to what she says. Fox covered it as well.
Mass shootings. I'm from Highland Park. Family vacation with my son, visiting my sister-in-law. I have been lobbying in D.C. since we survived a mass shooting in July. I have met with over 130 lawmakers. How is this still happening? How are our children still dying, and why are we failing them? Gun violence is the #1 killer of children and teens. It has overtaken cars. Assault weapons are contributing to the border crisis and fentanyl. We are arming cartels with our guns and our loose gun laws. And these shootings and these mass shootings will continue to happen until our lawmakers step up and pass gun safety legislation.
So this woman speaking right now, we were a little bit delayed from what Fox News was covering. We wanted to bring you the facts that the police department and the fire department were covering and releasing, because I'm not going to spend this entire show fighting against people like this woman who are taking this opportunity, whether you love it or hate it, to talk about gun control. The knee-jerk reaction to a scenario like this to immediately make it a political issue while there are still people being notified that they've lost their loved ones, it turns my stomach. So does the conversation need to be had about how to resolve issues like this, these are unresolvable once they've occurred, but how to make sure it doesn't happen again? It does. But I don't need to be the first person here to pound my fist on the table as to why the Second Amendment is important, or to shove my thoughts and frustration and anger into the faces of people who have lost loved ones in this, who have a different perspective on it. Don't hear me saying things that I'm not here. I have a strong opinion on people who want to push gun control. I have a strong opinion about how we can work to stop these things from happening. But at the end of the day, evil walks on this earth. And evil continues to find a way. So I wanted to listen to what she had to say, because we saw her on there and Fox covered it. I didn't turn it off because she was saying things I disagree with. They just gave us the details as to what happened. The details that were released. The shooter was a female. That is shocking. They said that she was probably a teenager, but they haven't completely identified her yet. She is dead. She was shot by the authorities and neutralized very quickly, but not quickly enough, of course, because we have 3 students who are dead. We don't know anything about the details about their identities. We have 3 other adults that are dead at the hands of a female who had 2 rifles, a handgun or handguns, suspected teenager. We will continue to update you throughout the show with the facts. We will continue to bring you the information as it happens. But this is not a moment to try to fight about politics, because this is way more important than politics. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
It's March, and you know what that means? Taxes are almost due. Jackson Hewitt can help you win tax season. That's the sound of your maximum tax refund. The sound of getting 50% off tax prep. The sound of many of our competitors' prices going up. And the sound of getting to your nearest Jackson Hewitt. Hurry in for 50% off tax prep before this offer expires April 9th. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here with us today. It's a sad day, and if you don't know why, I have sad news. In Nashville, Tennessee, there has been another school shooting. It is a Christian school where this shooting has taken place, a Presbyterian school called Covenant Presbyterian School. That is not the usual. A lot of times it's at public schools. This one is at a Christian private school that is run by an affiliated church. The shooter is a female. That is another difference between what we normally see and, the MO that a lot of these stories end up producing. The same thing over and over again. Remember, we just were talking about this in Colorado. This just happened in Colorado. And in Nashville, this Christian school is a preschool through 6th grade. 3 of those preschool through 6th grade students are dead today because a woman, a female, they assume she appeared to be a teenager, but they had not at the press conference that they just carried. She appears to be a teenager. 3 students from preschool to 6th grade are dead today because an evil person walked into a school, apparently in the lobby, and started shooting people. 3 adults are also dead because an evil woman walked in and started shooting people. This evil person is also now dead because the police showed up and they shot her. 3 students, 3 adults, and the female shooter. It's interesting to listen to read on Twitter, to hear remarks about the details in this story as if the idea that the shooter was female, does that change everything? Because what have we been doing to try to help young boys or old boys, whatever age they are? What kind of efforts do we put into helping young men not find themselves in the positions where school shooters often find themselves? Hopeless, consumed by some sort of hatred, hopeless to the point that they know that pursuing this, it ends in being shot or shooting themselves. Oh, it's a female now. That changes everything. It doesn't change a damn thing. I can't sit here and use this time and this moment and defend the Second Amendment. I don't need to. Many people are going to take this opportunity to go all in and use it once again as a way to talk about banning guns. It's the natural cycle of these things, but we will have another school shooting next week. Brad, I just said to you on the air, I just thought of this last week when the Colorado incident happened, and I can't remember. I do these things, I say these things, I'm like, I wish, because I kind of said it in passing. When we were casually talking about President Biden and his, gun grab bill, and I said, he's really pushing this out there right now, and it kind of seems interesting, but we haven't had a gun story in a while, and we need to get this out there to make sure that people understand where he is on the issue, even if it's going to be patently unconstitutional.
Right.
The Constitution exists whether or not school shootings happen.
Right.
And if at the end of this, let's just say that the left gets their political victory that they've been dying for to ban all guns, how do these guns go away? What kind of laws was this psycho-crazed woman willing to follow and not willing to follow to go shoot up a school? How stupid can we be to fall into this conversation every time and get so immediately wrapped up in the gun conversation on both sides of the issue? Because on the right, if we engage in this conversation and use this as an opportunity to start pounding the Second Amendment and talking about the idea of how it's important in America that we get to have our guns, you're damn right it is. It was, it is, it will be. But there are 3 families who don't have their child coming back today. We can't use this time to talk about fixing the gun problem wherever you stand on that issue, because those 3 families don't give a damn about those guns right now. How have we lost our hearts and our souls on this earth, on this planet, in humanity, to not understand the difference between policy, differences of opinions and perspectives, and the right time and the right place to do that? Maybe if we had a little more humanity in a moment like this, we would care for one another more and see somebody who's hurting, see somebody who's beyond repair, see what's going on in our culture and in our society. Maybe we would do something about it. But no, let's put another political point on the board. Let's make sure in this moment everybody knows where you stand on the freaking Second Amendment. We have to stop living in a reality where if we don't barf our political opinions all over everybody all the time, that somehow indicates, if you don't say it out loud, then you are the opposite of what you didn't say. We don't have to tell everybody where we are on these beliefs immediately to make sure that no one's going to come in and check and say, you know what, well, Annie didn't defend the Second Amendment on the show when this Nashville shooting was happening and everybody's calling for the guns. I don't have to say where I am on the Second Amendment right now because I am thinking about being one of those mothers. And if we cared about that a little bit more, would we maybe get to the root of the problem? Because we sure as hell aren't doing it the way we have these conversations right now. How many times have we been in a moment where these things are happening, and by the time we get to the point where we learn a little about it, something else is occurring? They happen in the state of Illinois, where we have crazy strict gun laws. People don't obey laws when they're willing to go into a school of preschoolers through sixth graders and shoot them. Something is broken. And the politics are way, not even visibly downstream from the culture. And if this is your moment to shine on your stance on the Second Amendment on either side of the issue, don't come talking to me. I don't want to hear it. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Whistle while you work. Put on that grin and start right in to whistle loud and long. Just hum a merry tune.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Hello, Ryan Wiggins.
Hello, and good afternoon to you all. So this weekend, I'm sure you guys saw the news about the tornado that swept through mostly Mississippi. Very, very devastating. Huge tornado called a wedge tornado. Comes out of a supercell. Traveled up to about 80 miles. That is a long time for a tornado to exist.
That's a super long time.
And hit 2 different towns from western Mississippi to almost the middle of Mississippi. I mean, that's a long way. Hit Rolling Fork and then Black Hawk, Mississippi. 25 people dead. EF4 category is how they're categorizing this. 166 to 200 mile per hour winds. That is just a long time to have a tornado. You know, a lot of these things, they touch down quick and then they're gone. But we're, they always say we're right in the middle of these things too. So I thought that I would bring to you guys just a few different questions to see if you, off the top of your head, because that's the way these things are going to happen. They said in this instance,
The National Weather Service only issued a tornado warning about 20 minutes before this hit.
So the Amazon tornado that came through, what was it, a couple years ago?
Yep.
That actually hit my parents' house, and I was at that house when it happened. And it took the barn, but one of our barns that's on the farm there. So that's the close. I mean, I was 100 yards from the tornado.
You were close.
I mean, yes, it was a football field's length away, and pretty dramatic. We were in the basement, and all of a sudden we did hear the sirens that they say you hear. But it was about 20 minutes as well. And we just went into the basement, and it's difficult to go back and replay exactly how rapidly that happened and how if that thing would have shifted over, I don't know if we would have been okay.
By over, you mean just a
100
little bit.
yards
Yeah, I mean
south.
real close.
Yes.
Because it got your barn. Yeah, these things, they do happen real fast, and so you almost have to respond by instinct of just know. You're not going to be able to look this up real quickly, find out, what should I do in each instance? Your instincts were right. I mean, most people know that one. You go in the basement. If you have a basement, you go in the basement, you go underground if you can.
Did they have basements in Mississippi?
It depends on where you were.
It's always interesting me to find when something like this happens to find out, they just don't have basements there.
That is wild.
Florida is like super wet.
Right.
So
you don't have as many
just
basements.
don't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just, everywhere here has basements.
No, they always say the worst place to be is in a mobile home. And we'll get there in a second because I know a lot of people may be in a mobile home. You probably have heard, here's what you do. But aside from being underground, I'll ask you guys, if you don't have a basement, do you go to, and this is according to the state of Missouri, I'm pulling this stuff from MAH-GAH. Is the front room or an interior room the best place to go if you don't have a basement?
It's an interior room.
Yes, you guys got that. Okay, here's where it gets difficult. If you live in a mobile home, do you go to an interior room or do you run somewhere else?
I believe
leave?
Yeah.
Leave the house.
I believe you're supposed to leave the house.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
According to the state of Missouri, it says if you can, leave.
I was going to say, that's a hard thing to time because you have very little warning.
Yeah.
You certainly don't want to be outside, but that mobile home's going to get eaten up like
the wind
crazy.
goes apparently underneath
whole thing.
the mobile home in a way that it doesn't a permanent structure. So if you're in a mobile home and you're near somewhere, for instance, if you have neighbors who are not, mobile parks are all different. Some places have more permanent structures. If you have a neighbor who has a permanent structure, you try to go
You
there.
have a storm shelter and stuff like that. I grew up in a mobile home, and my grandparents' house was hit by a tornado, and they lived about a mile away. And when it hit their house, it shook our mobile home.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of mobile home parks will have a shelter, so that would be your designated place to go. But you're going to want to know where you're going before you leave the house, too. So you want to think about that now before that hits. How about this one? Because this is a very common occurrence. If you're in your car when this is happening, do you drive away from it or do you find shelter?
In your car?
If you're in your car, tornado's coming.
So, like, get out of your car and find
Do
shelter?
you try to
or-
drive, like, just keep going and outrun it? Or do you find somewhere, maybe you drive to somewhere and shelter?
I would drive somewhere
So,
to find shelter.
I guess it depends on how close it is to you, but I think I remember growing up that you're supposed to get out of your car and seek shelter. And even if that's like a ditch on the side of the highway and get in a very low spot.
So that would be last resort. They say because of the speed of a tornado, 35 to 45 miles per hour typical,
You could
that if
outrun
you
it?
can outrun it, you should.
Oh, wow.
That they say if you can, now you have to be able to drive
What is
that
the source
fast.
of all of this? Just to make
This
sure
is
that
Missouri.gov, MO.gov. This is Missouri's website. They say that if you can go that fast, now if you're in a city where you can't really go that fast, you're going to want to find shelter. Or if you're in heavy traffic, that's very common too. You're going to want to find shelter. Now, if you can't in any of those instances find anything to do, like Brad, you said, they say you might want to, if you can, store your car low. And if you have to stay in it,
Well, it's the same thing with the mobile homes. That wind can get up underneath your vehicle and toss it.
Exactly.
I've heard overpasses, hiding under overpasses, like going up to where the overpass meets the concrete and all that stuff and getting in the beams up there and hiding and stuff like that.
And if you do have to stay in your car, they say buckle yourself
Buckle
in for sure, and then get low. So if you can lean your seat all the way back, or get yourself like into your own, like lean forward into your knees, stay below the windows, because that's the most dangerous way to go through a tornado, is just by sitting there normal. Last one here, and a lot of people, if you work downtown anywhere, if you're in a high-rise building, do you get out
or get to the interior of the building?
I think you could get to the interior.
Yeah,
Of the building.
interior.
That's correct.
I think it would take us a while to get out
It'd
of
be
here.
really hard to get out.
And that is actually why they say go ahead and try to get to the interior, because if you're close to, maybe you're not way up in it, like if you're on the first or second floor, you might be able to get out. But that structure is probably going to be more dependable than wherever you're running to. So they say get to an interior room, partially because they don't really know how long it's going to take you to get out of the building. And then once people start fleeing, then it's going to take you a long time. So those are just some scenarios. I think we all know, get underground if you can, get to the interior of buildings if you can. But the car one was a really surprise to me, that they say, yeah, go ahead. If you can outrun it, go ahead and outrun it. You can probably outdrive a tornado. You just got to know which way you're going and which way it's coming from. So some tips there from mo.gov for the moment that a tornado hits.
It's incredibly important to be prepared, though, to have that plan. And if when one of these instances, I was listening to some of the stories of people who were enduring this in Mississippi. It's just horrible, but there are things that when you hear a story like this happening, if you're like, crap, and a lot of people plan on what they would do at home. What if you're somewhere else? So it's good to know these details and to get ahead of it, have a plan. When we come back, Steve Moore is going to talk to us about bank bailouts, and John Jerome, president and founder of Heroes Care at 125. Don't go away.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Well, I hope that a lot of the sleep that you're getting isn't wasted sleep, because for a long time it was for me. Now, though, with my sleep apnea mouth guard that I use from Fountains Family Dentistry, I don't even want to have a nap without using it, because it's just wasted sleep. You're not getting the oxygen to your brain that you need. You're falling asleep, but you're not really getting into REM sleep as well. That all is fixed by one of these mouth guards with Fountains Family Dentistry. So I suggest you make an appointment with them. I went out of town this weekend and took it with me, and I realized, you know what? I need to just get a second one, leave one in my suitcase, have one by my nightstand, because they're that important to me and the way I really live my life entirely. So if that's you, if you feel like you just are not getting the sleep you need, or you're tired and you don't know why, this may be why, that you have sleep apnea and you don't know it. And it's so easy to fix. It is so easy to fix. And so many other health problems will be solved by fixing that one problem. Go to FountainsFamilyDentistry.com. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois, and they can fix it like that. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This
This is a Fox News alert. 7 dead in Tennessee. I'm Lisa Brady. Police in Nashville just confirming 3 students and 3 adults were killed in a school shooting this morning at a Christian grade school. The suspect is also dead, shot by responding officers.
We know at this point that this shooter is a female. She appears to be in her teens, although her identification has not been confirmed at this juncture. We know that she was armed with at least 2 assault-type rifles and a handgun.
Nashville police spokesman Don Aaron says the shooter went into the school through a side entrance. Covenant School is a Presbyterian pre-K through 6th grade school. They are still working to identify the victims as well as the shooter. First Lady Jill Biden speaking just a short time ago.
I am truly without words, and our children deserve better.
She is at a previously scheduled event with the National League of Cities, beginning her remarks by mentioning that deadly tragedy in Nashville. Israel's prime minister says he's taking a timeout for dialogue, calling it an opportunity to avoid civil war after clashes over a planned judicial overhaul.
Israeli society is at a tipping point. Flights from the country's main airport are canceled, banks are closed, and there is currently a general labor strike underway. What we saw last night in the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem was unprecedented. Police clashing with demonstrators, using water cannons to disperse crowds.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Jerusalem. Union officials just calling off the strike now after Prime Minister Netanyahu delayed the proposal, allowing time to build consensus. The grand jury weighing a possible indictment of former President Donald Trump, scheduled to meet again at this hour in New York City. America is listening to Fox News.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Do bank closures, inflation rate hikes, and the roller coaster of the market frighten you as much as it does me? You need to call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick the precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today and learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan at 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature today, it's going to be a little bit chilly going through the afternoon. 52 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little peekaboo sunshine tonight. Lots of clouds, keeping it cold. 34 Tuesday, real chilly day, even with partly sunny skies. Cold start, but only 49 for the high on Tuesday. 30 Tuesday night and Wednesday sunny and 59. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Being a parent or, when you've got a lot of people in your house, it's your significant other. If you don't have your kids in your house anymore, it's difficult when you get sick and then everybody's sick. You get the same thing. You're passing it around. Probably need antibiotics or something like that. Enter Stay Home Medical. If you go to stayhomemedical.com, check it out. I mean, even if it's like, I don't know if that's my cup of tea, go to stayhomemedical.com and learn about this amazing way to access care for yourself. Skip going to urgent care. Skip the drive. Skip the waiting room. Skip that whole process. have urgent care come to you. That's mobile urgent care. They work hand in hand with a collaborating physician to make sure that you are provided the care that you need. StayHomeMedical.com has that info that you need. You can they have processed an HSA payment from me before, and it works. And it's way more affordable than you might think. When you have that next illness come to you, if you need a COVID test, if you need a lab draw, they'll come to you, to your home, to your place of work, wherever you need them to come. 314-944-3003, 314-944-3003, stayhomemedical.com.
Cast your vote where it really matters. The Save Our Schools rally is this Tuesday, March 28th. Come meet the candidates who align with your values. Go to 971talk.com/events and join us this Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. at Wenty's in Chesterfield.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we take on the establishment and challenge corporations to be better for the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, we welcome you back to the Annie Frey Show here on 97.1 FM Talk. I'm going to give a quick update on this breaking news story before we get to our guest. We are watching as the details unfold in Nashville at Covenant Presbyterian School. It's a preschool through 6th grade. 3 students have been shot and have been killed. 3 adults have been shot and have been killed. The shooter, a 28-year-old female, went into the lobby of the school and opened fire. We are going to continue to follow this story and bring you the facts as they happen. So stick with us. Any details continue to emerge, we will bring them to you. Our guest, as is the case on Mondays at 1:05 here, is Steve Moore, and we're going to talk about Biden's economic plan. Listen to Stuart Varney talking on this issue before we get to our guest, because investing in America.
30 years ago, Bill Clinton won the presidency on the back of the slogan, "It's the economy, stupid." Evidently, Joe Biden agrees. He's about to start a series of appearances touting investing in America. 20 states in 3 weeks of campaigning. Vice President Kamala Harris goes with him, along with First Lady Jill Biden and nearly a dozen cabinet members. Sure looks like the start of his re-election campaign.
Maybe it is. Investing in America, I'll tell you one thing, that sounds expensive. Steve Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, author of the book Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Steve, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Annie. Good to be with you.
Thank you so much. Investing in America. I mean, of course, we want to see our tax dollars be invested in America, but hard to do that when the tax dollars that are being spent are our grandchildren's tax dollars.
Yeah, and, we need investment in this country, no question. Investment is really the seed corn for economic growth in the future. We know that countries that invest do better, whether it's in businesses, whether it's in physical infrastructure, whether it's in education, and the ability for our kids to be able to perform when they become adults. We have plenty of government spending. That's not the problem, folks. We have $6 to $7 trillion of government spending. The problem really is on the private. Almost all infrastructure, other than like roads and bridges and airports and things like that, sewer systems, are developed by the private sector. That's something that Joe Biden doesn't really understand because he's never worked in the private sector, so he doesn't understand how it works and what it makes to make a business and to produce things. And so I'm all for investment. I think it's a great message, but Annie just came out with a budget 2 weeks ago that would massively increase the taxes on American investment by raising the capital gains tax, the dividend tax, the small business tax, the corporate tax. You're not going to get more investment with that. You're going to less. If you tax something, you get less.
Yeah. Steve, is that going to affect the middle class, though? Because what I hear him keep saying is he just wants the rich to pay their fair share.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? 2 or 3 weeks ago, he comes out with his budget saying, we're going to sock it to the rich and punch them in the nose and hit them hard and take more of their money away. And then the next week he says, we're going to bail out the rich, with these bank bailouts. So we got to tax the rich so we can give it to the rich. That seems to be his modus operandi. But look, this is very serious. If we do have this massive tax increase. And as I said, I was on Stuart Varney's show this morning. As a matter of fact, you just played a clip from him where I made the point that, if you want more investment, you can't keep taxing it. And he wants to raise the capital gains tax to its highest level in, 30, 40 years. He wants to give the United States one of the highest corporate tax rates in the world. He wants to tax unrealized capital gains. So even if you own a stock and you don't even sell it, you have to tax it. I mean, all these things are extraordinarily negative. And let's not forget one other thing, Annie, that you remember what was his first act, or virtually his first act as president?
Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah, and that's an investment, isn't it?
Sure.
So he's killing investment, not expanding it.
Well, okay, so let me go back to one thing you said there about how he's a career politician. What is if somebody gets into office, like Donald Trump certainly was somebody who has signed the back of a paycheck before, or the front of the paycheck rather than the back of the paycheck before. How important is it to understand how to build and grow something completely in the private sector outside of the reliance on government funding, which is, of course, taking money from American taxpayers before you can make anything happen?
Well, hugely important. I mean, practice makes perfect, right? I mean, I've started 3 businesses in my life, 3 small businesses. 2 of them failed, and one of them was a success. And that's, pretty much the kind of average that, most small businesses fail. It takes a lot of risk and a lot of backbone, a lot of guts to, hang a shingle out and start a business. And to not have any idea what a small businessman or woman goes through. I love when they should pay more taxes. They should do this. We should regulate them. Well, Joe Biden, why don't you first go out and start a business and show that you can do it, and then come back and lecture us about what small businesses should be doing? By the way, it's not just, Joe Biden. It's his entire cabinet, and most of all the people that he has appointed to key positions on economy and finance and transportation and energy. They have no background in this. They're just either career politicians, academics who also know nothing about business and meeting a payroll, or community organizers. So what would you expect?
Right. Yeah, exactly. They're doing what they know, which is growing government on the back of the taxpayer.
Right, exactly.
Steve Moore with us right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we need to stop treating our small businesses and our medium-sized businesses and our big businesses like they're ATM machines.
Yeah.
Because that's what the attitude is. Oh, yeah, we're going to have all these wonderful government programs, and the businesses that create the jobs are going to pay for it.
Yeah, that you can't. That's not sustainable. We certainly have seen that it's not sustainable. We're speaking with Steve Moore with the Heritage Foundation, our economic expert. The first thing that you would do, you've advised very successful economic plans under successful presidents. The very first thing you would do if you had the opportunity to change the economic situation this country is facing right now, what would it be?
Boy, that's a fun question. I mean, it's like having to choose between a Ferrari and a Maserati. I think if I could wave a wand and make one change right now, I would say let's have a flat tax and just really radically simplify the tax system, get rid of all the crud and all the barnacles they put on our tax system over the last 40 years, and make it really simple, make it very understandable, make it the best tax system in the world in terms of American competitiveness, maybe an 18% rate. Everybody pays it, but you get, a deduction for yourself and your kids. You don't need much of an IRS because it's so simple. Anybody can figure it out. And let's grow this economy. Let's make America number one. That's one of the things I love about Trump. And by the way, I'm not even choosing sides this time because there's a lot of great Republicans running for president this time. So I'm not. I have a personal affection for Trump, but I'm not. I've told the president, I'm going to let it play out. Let the American people and the conservative voters decide who they want to be their nominee. But the one thing about Trump is he really did put America first, and as you just said, Annie. Love him or hate him, he understood how business works and, how to make a profit. And the liberals think profit is like a dirty word.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that the idea that somebody would make something or create something means that somebody out there didn't get that specific thing. How does the government come into that scenario and ever make equal outcome versus equal opportunity, how does that ever make everybody, successful? Because it seems to me that it has to suppress everybody rather than raise everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, let me make this very simple for folks because, economics really isn't complicated. If you started a business, Annie, you're going to sell, a product. You're going to sell widgets, okay?
Yeah.
Annie's going to make widgets. The only way you can make a profit selling widgets is by selling the product to the people the consumers and the customers who want it. In other words, you can't command people to buy your thing. That's the magic of the free enterprise system. You make money. You're both better off, right? I buy the product and you get the money from me and we're both happy, right? Whereas in government, the only way government can spend the money is by taking it away from me.
Yeah. And it doesn't improve anybody's situation. It just causes people who have been successful to enjoy less success.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not saying we shouldn't have we should have no government. Of course, we should have laws and we should have police and we should have firemen and we should have court system and we should have a safety net. But do we need all these laws and regulations and the government sticking its nose in every little decision, bailing out every small, look, capitalism means you have the right to be a success, but you also have the right to fail. I don't want the government providing a safety net for every failed business.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more question before we let you go. Speaking with Steve Moore right now, because you're talking about bailouts. What about these banks?
I hate them.
When Steve Moore, when you see these banks failing and the government and Joe Biden come into the rescue for the people who banked there and the banks themselves potentially, what's your reaction?
Well, I'm in favor of depositor insurance. That goes back to the 1930s, to stop the bank runs that helped cause the Great Depression. So I think here's an area where sound, and reasonable regulation makes sense, that you have a depositor insurance so that depositors know that even if the bank fails, that they will be made whole. But I don't think that we should bail out the bank. I'm saying we should bail out the depositors so we don't have run-on banks. And there's there's an important distinction between those two things.
Right. Well, we appreciate your thoughts on all of these issues, and this election season is going to be a wild ride. We hope you'll stick with us and definitely push towards an economic 180 that might come from a different administration. Thanks for being with us today, Steve. Appreciate it.
Okay, Annie, have a great week. Take care.
You as well. Read that book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom, and understand how all of this taking that is done by government from you and from your children and from your grandchildren being reinvested in projects. Listen, there are people on the right. Oh my gosh, they're the worst. They're the ones who feel like the most hypocritical. You get elected with an R next to your name and you're not being fiscally conservative just because a taxpayer-funded pet project is for something that maybe you like or support. If that is something you like and support, then support it with your own charitable giving. Why does the government have to take that money from you in order to make these unnecessary, maybe good and beneficial things, but not necessary to fund from the masses, especially when you drive up and down your roads and they're destroyed and they're not getting fixed. By the time they get fixed, the beginning needs to be fixed again. Or when you look at how our entire Defense Department is funded, how much of it is being funded to actually make us safer and how much of it is being funded to make sure that the bureaucracy is in place. There are plenty of places that are traditionally Republican-related causes that are being funded by taxpayer dollars, unnecessarily so. And we are not going to have a successful country. We don't even need to talk generations from now. We're kind of getting towards the precipice here. We have to get back to fiscal conservatism. We have to understand that we should be spending within our means. And that just seems like a laughable proposition these days. I want to take a quick break because when we come back, John Jerome is going to join us. This is the president and founder of Heroes Care. Hannah, Heroes Care out in your neck of the woods.
It is my neck of the woods.
How excited are you to go tomorrow, broadcasting live from Mission Depot?
I'm super, super, super excited. I always love when we do remote broadcasts, but this one in particular, I'm super, super excited for.
We are big on this show and finding people who are doing great things and saying, hey, can we use our platform here to make your great thing even greater? And when it comes to seeing a need in the community and saying, I can do something about it, John Jerome did that. He did that with Heroes Care, and he's going to call in and talk to us when we come back. Don't go away.
Listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Let's talk about the Diamond Shop in Clayton. They've been around since 1910. That's some success right there. They do jewelry, they do watches, they buy gold, they do appraisals, they do everything that you need in a St. Louis family-owned and operated jewelry store. And when you visit Clayton and you walk into the Diamond Shop, you quickly see why people come back again and again. I adore the people at the Diamond Shop. And when my husband goes there, I always know he can come home with something nice because they're going to walk him through the process. Even if it's like, you know what, I'm just looking for something for, my birthday's coming up and it's maybe, I just have a $50 budget, just want to get her something nice. Or maybe it's something for a big anniversary and maybe you're celebrating 25 years of marriage and you want to really make that statement. You walk into the Diamond Shop and you say, this is what I'm looking for. I've got this amount of budget, and they take you through the whole process and keep you coming back again for more, because that's just how it works at the Diamond Shop. Go online to their website and sign up to become a VIP. It's free to sign up. Members get special discounts and merchandise. It's online at thediamondshop.net.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 901 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 901. LUMEdeodorant.com, code 901 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 901.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. When I make a recommendation on the radio, you can be sure I've done my homework. When it comes to real estate, I only recommend one realtor. That's Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Fact is, I've been recommending Gloria for years now. I've met her clients. I've seen her systems. Gloria has a proven track record for selling hundreds of homes this year alone, and that'll give you the confidence that she'll help you sell yours for the most money. The fact is, Gloria already has the buyers looking to buy now. That's why she'll actually guarantee in writing to sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on the price and the possession date.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
I've made around $200 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN40 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN40 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code EARN40 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
No matter where you live, what you make, or who you voted for, there's some things that will impact all of us soon. Whether you're concerned about extreme weather, the alarming increase in man-made disasters, or worsening food shortages, Americans are preparing in numbers not seen since World War II. What's changed is how we prepare. And the folks at My Patriot Supply have made it easier than ever for you to have peace of mind, knowing you're ready for what's next. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and stock up on their popular 3-month emergency food kit. They include tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners with over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one kit per person. For a limited time, save $200 plus get free shipping on your 3-month supply at MyPatriotSupply.com. Too many Americans are being let down by institutions we used to trust. It's time to rely on ourselves. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com now. MyPatriotSupply.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jay Peter Zane is back, an editor at Real Clear Investigations. The wife tells you use it too much. The word woke, right?
There's one word that describes the cultural revolution that they are leading and they're trying to deny.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
American girls and American guys.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We'll always recognize.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head. My daddy served in the army.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful that you were here with us today. There has been in Nashville, Illinois, a shooting at a Christian grade school. Preschool through 6th grade students, 3 children dead, 3 adults dead. The 28-year-old female shooter is also dead, was brought down by authorities. We are watching as details continue to be released on this story. We're not speculating anything. We're just giving you the details as we get them. We do believe that the president is going to speak on this. So when he comes on, we will carry that here on the Annie Frey Show. I want to shift gears and talk about our opportunity to broadcast on location tomorrow. And if you've ever wanted to come out and say hi, we would so love this opportunity to meet you tomorrow. We are broadcasting from noon to 3 p.m. at Heroes Care Mission Depot in High Ridge, Missouri. And here to talk about that event, I'm so honored to have John Jerome back on the show with us, the president and founder of Heroes Care. You can go to heroescare.org to learn more. John, thank you for being with us today. We cannot wait to be with you tomorrow.
Well, my whole crew is here waiting for you all to show up so we can have some fun.
That sounds great. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about the event, the Mission Depot event that is taking place all tomorrow. What have you done with Heroes Care and this idea of Mission Depot?
Well, Heroes Care started back in 2003 when my 3-year-old and 11-year-old daughter wanted to send a care package. During that, from then till now, we've done everything in a transitional part as to what the military needed. From in the beginning, care packages, food pantries, emergency financial, one-on-one during the deployments. Each part of our mission has transitioned to the needs. As we see it now, the need is to get our veterans and our post 9/11 veterans in to find some of those extra things that they may need, and also kind of help them with their budget. So the Mission Depot, what it is we have donors from around the country and here locally that over the past 20 years, we've distributed $157 million worth of donated product.
Man. I mean, what you're doing is so important, and I love that you started it in 2003 and have figured out a way to grow it from that amount of time up until now. I do want to interject and say that at the beginning of this, when I was talking about the Nashville shooting, I said Nashville, Illinois, out of habit, because I have been in Nashville, Illinois. It is not Nashville, Illinois. It is Nashville, Tennessee. So for anybody who's listening, because that is within this area here, I want to make sure it's Nashville, Tennessee. Everybody understands that. So I do love Nashville, Illinois, but this issue that I was discussing is in Nashville, Tennessee. And I feel bad that I might have freaked some people out listening right now and want to correct that. So heroescare.org. We're speaking with John Jerome, president and founder of Heroes Care. Let's talk a little bit more about Mission Depot and the services that you are offering these individuals who can come seek out monthly assistance from you.
So every month, the veteran and active duty military are able to shop in and get all of the brand new product that we received from our donors. So they'll get food, cleaning supplies. Right now, my volunteers are sorting through 20 pallets that donated Amazon. So we have all his brand new product that'll be on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that if we can lighten the $300 off of a service member's bills on a monthly basis, that gives them $300 in cash that they can pay their bills and give them that breathing room and to say thank you. The way we've designed the Mission Depot is we also have the other alternate services that they need. The Veteran Service Officer to get their benefits, legal counseling. A lot of our Guard and Reserve have their last will that they wrote was when they deployed in 2014 and 15.
Ooh.
It hasn't been updated. We also have employers that will be here on site for them to do interviews. So instead of having to go to a building and be scared of that initial phase, they're here just to talk to you while you go shopping and see if you're interested in working for them. We also have hairdressers that are going to be in here cutting hair once a week. And we have another group that's talking about bringing in professional counseling. So a service member that may be would like to talk to somebody off book, off the record, but professionally, will be able to do that while they're here just shopping once a month.
It's so important that people also know, with all the work that you're putting into Heroes Care, that people do know that this is out there for them and do feel comfortable and empowered to walk in and utilize these services. You're in High Ridge there, Mission Depot, where we will be tomorrow, High Ridge, Missouri. Talk about that location. Talk about outside of when we're there tomorrow, we encourage people to come out and support what you're doing. Why that location? Why do you establish it there? And how has it grown?
Well, we have been with a group that, long story short, group company that we helped hire some veterans, gave us their building on a 1 year per year lease, and they sold the building off. And in October, we were told the rent was going up 25%, and you have to sign a 3-year contract or get out. So another donor came through for us and gave us a facility that is twice the size and allowed us the ability to build what the ultimate dream was, which was a one-stop shop for our military to come in, whether on active duty in a Guard Reserve capacity or as the Korean, Vietnam, World War II vet. They can all come in and get the same services.
So if people can't come out tomorrow and visit with us, or if people do come out, you've collected all of these people who want to come together and care for our heroes. You can go to heroescare.org to learn all about this effort. But if someone's listening right now and they're like, man, I'm glad John Jerome is out there. I'm glad he's seen this need and put his time and his effort and, probably some risk behind making this your passion project. I want to help John Jerome. I want to help Heroes Care. What can they do?
Give us a call at the office at 636-600-0096 or email me at president@heroescare.org. And whether you're an individual who wants to volunteer and be part of being able to serve and say thank you to a veteran on a daily basis, whether you want to help us sort through a product, whether your company has 5 employees or we've had groups of 50 employees at one time come in and do their service hours. And in turn, they're able to meet with the veterans. They're able to see the impact that we have. Men's Warehouse gives us a tractor trailer full of suits every month. And we have to go through and detag them and make sure that they're good enough to be handing out to our military so that whenever they go on that job interview, they look perfect. And it's just a lot of every day having to go through product, and it's a constant flow of volunteers. In the way of businesses, if they have new product, we don't take used. It's all new product, and you have an overabundance of it, please contact us. We'll be more than happy to put it on our shelves and get it out to the military. And we partner with, in the area of 180 different local charities, so that if in the event something that is given to us is something that we can't use or we have too much of it, we partner with the other charities that are in need of that product, and we give it to them for their mission and how they work.
Yeah.
Just like when we came out with the diapers with you.
I was just going to say, we had our diaper drive where our good friend Princess Storm from Hot 104.1 was doing a diaper drive. And we said, ooh, can we help you with this? I just wanted to support her and get my crew, my crowd, to put our hands together and support what she was doing. And then you saw that and said, I'm going to do something about it. And you showed up with the Heroes Care box truck and pallets of diapers to help us in this effort. So it kind of feels like you get to be a part of a chain of positive events, of helping people, inspiring other people to help people. Do you see that with the individuals that you're working with and the volunteers who come help you run your Heroes Care?
It is amazing. We have a crew of probably 25 core volunteers that show up at least 3, sometimes 4 days a week. And they are here, and when they get to take the veteran shopping, and they're just amazed at all of the brand new product that they can receive and how much it's taken off of their budget and allowed them a little extra money. And it's the pride that they have in making that mission is what it's all about. We're connecting with people. We're making that person's life one day at a time. And if we can make it that 1 month that's easier for them, our volunteers just are glow. It's amazing to watch them.
Yeah. Well, we are excited to be a part of this great event, the Heroes Care Mission Depot in High Ridge, Missouri. We will be broadcasting live from noon to 3 p.m. out there with you, and we invite everyone to come out and support this amazing effort that you have put together, John Jerome, that everybody at Heroes Care has put together. Thank you for letting us be a part of this. We're truly honored to be able to join you tomorrow.
And I can guarantee every one of your listeners that come out tomorrow that when they come through, see it, they will leave inspired to be part of it.
Well, that is the goal. We want to get as many folks out there to experience this as we can. We will be there noon to 3. John Jerome, president and founder of Heroes Care, thank you so much for being with us today. Cannot wait to be with you tomorrow.
Cannot wait for you to be here.
Sounds great. We'll talk to you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. HeroesCare.org is the website. Tomorrow, broadcasting live, the Annie Frey Show on location at the Heroes Care Mission Depot. Please, please, please come join us. The details for this are all available at 971talk.com. We're going to take a quick break here right now. We are anticipating President Biden to speak on the Nashville, Tennessee shooting. Again, apologies if you heard me say Nashville, Illinois earlier. That is incorrect. It is Nashville, Tennessee. I frequent Nashville, Illinois more than I frequent Nashville, Tennessee, so my apologies for mixing that up. The Nashville, Tennessee school shooting. The president will be speaking on that. We will carry that. Back in a minute.
My daddy served in the army.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
But he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died. He wanted my mother, my brother, my sister, and me to grow up and live happy in the land of the free. Now this nation that I love is falling under attack. A mighty sucker punch came flying in from somewhere in the back. Soon as we could see clearly.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brinton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brinton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brintonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brinton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brintonvision.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery. My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing? It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump? Elementary, Watson. Simply use the Cashback app, Upside. The Upside app has eluded my attention. Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200. So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway. Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back. Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOMES to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for being here with us right now. We appreciate it. Nashville police are going to be updating us. Nashville, Tennessee. I need to keep repeating myself. Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, not Illinois. Going to be updating on the shooting. Hannah, let's get that also queued up here so we can take it. We're waiting on the possibility that the president is going to be speaking. We're monitoring that. He is supposed to be at, Hannah, you said that was the event he's at is a women's business.
Yes, Biden is currently at the SBA Women's Business Summit. So
Okay.
I don't know if he's going to address the shooting there or what.
Well, whatever it is, this is all happening live, and we're here to cover it and bring it to you live. They're also setting up for another update from the Nashville Police Department. We will take that as well if it comes. If the Nashville Police Department and the president are speaking at the same time, we're going to go with the Nashville Police Department first, and we will come back and take what the president says, just because a lot of what President Biden will say is going to be based on the details of what we know so far, and those details are really being released to the public through these police briefings that are taking place in front of the press there in Nashville, Tennessee. So we'll bring it all. All right. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I have a lot of thoughts, and I want to take everything that like you were talking about earlier in the show and just kind of set that aside for a moment. And I can't wrap my head around the mindset that says I'm so angry, I'm so frustrated. What I'm going to do is go shoot children. I can't get my head around that. I don't understand what that mindset comes from. I don't understand what drives a person to do that. Whenever I go, like a lot of times you hear about, okay, well, this person was a loner, they were an outsider, that sort of thing. When I was in high school, I was not a happy high school student, but never, as bad as it ever got for me, never did I think, what I should do is I should just go kill all of these people that are making me angry. It just, I can't wrap my head around that. And then the question is like you were saying earlier, they think this woman was 28 years old.
They've reported that she's 28
years old.
And if they know she's 28, then they know who she is.
They know who she is. What causes somebody that is not a high schooler to go to a elementary school and target children? I'm just afraid that, like I know we want to solve this issue, and I'm just afraid that there's no real solution for this. This is the degradation, the decay of our society right now, and unless we really start treating things like mental health and stuff like that, we're not going to really ever solve this issue.
So, Ryan, were you able to hear me lose my mind on the air earlier?
I was waiting to come in to do Wiggins America, so yes.
I don't know. Go back and check the tapes. When these things happen during this show or right before the show and the details come out during the show, you just get my raw reaction. Because for a lot of other issues that take place, I have a time to process it, to kind of collect an objective. It doesn't really, I have no requirement here to be an objective reporter. In fact, this show has my name on it because here's my perspective on it, and the value that the three of you bring takes my perspective and makes it even broader because you have your various thoughts on the issues and you get to contribute it that way. I am so angry. I have so much despair and anger with these stories. The humanity, the lack of humanity that exists in the actual event, and the reaction to it in this country. It's as depraved and disgusting as it can be.
Yeah, I could tell from listening to you and just from knowing you that there are times when you talk about an issue like abortion or something where you can tell that this is something that you've been thinking a lot about, and yes, the overall issue makes you mad. That was a moment where I could tell that you said, I've just had enough. And yeah.
I try to bring to this show a lot of, there are hard issues. I try to do a little more head thinking and a little less heart feeling because I think that makes it more consumable for more people to consider other people's perspectives. And to facilitate a place here from noon to 3 on 97.1 where we get to have conversations that are too hard to have elsewhere. This is turning into all heart for me. And I don't know if that's good or bad. The President of the United States is speaking on this issue. We are also waiting to hear the latest from the Nashville Police Department. Let's listen in to President Biden and see what he has to say on this issue.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all four of them? Well, stand up, guys.
John, we'll jump back in here. Considering the moment,
we were told that the
shooting that just happened left 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, shooters dead, and we were told he would be addressing this off the top.
Yeah, it's rather surprising. I thought that a somber President Biden would have come to the podium here and addressed this school shooting. He's yucking it up with the crowd at the East Room. So why don't we dump out of this, and when the president decides that he's going to address this, we'll jump back into it. Bill, we were speaking with you. I think Sandra was talking to you about the swift actions on the part of the Nashville Police Department. When Chris Wecker was here, he talked about the idea of a school resource officer as a deterrent. Now, this school, for whatever reason, chose that it wasn't going to employ the Nashville Police Department in a role to protect the school on a daily basis. So it appears that they did an admirable job when the worst happened. But, you have to wonder, is there a way?
I just want you all to know that the president went live. What Fox News, because we're pulling this from the Fox News report, they're experiencing what we're experiencing right now, which is a jaw-drop moment where the president of the United States, now they're going back in. This is unbelievable. Let's listen in.
I'm sorry. Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And it's just, it's sick. We're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who did not make it, including children. And it's heartbreaking, a family's worst nightmare. And I want to commend the police who responded incredibly swiftly, within minutes, to end the danger. We're monitoring the situation really closely, Ben, as you know, and we have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. You know, the shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we began to make some more progress, but there's more to learn. But I just wanted to send my concern and hearts out to so many parents out there. I've been to so many of these sites, as Ben knows, by virtually every one. And one of the things you folks should, I know you do know, but you should focus on. You know, just like when in the military, my son was in Iraq for a year, other places, there's so many members of the military coming back with post-traumatic stress after witnessing the violence and participating in it. Well, these children, these teachers, you should be focusing on their mental health as well. And so I'm grateful. Anyway, sorry to start off that way, but I couldn't begin without acknowledging what happened. And now I'm grateful that all of you are joining us here today.
Ryan, I do not have anything that I'm allowed to say on the air. And I let a little bit of that out off the air. What did our president just do?
So the intention, I believe, was to talk about the school shooting today. He came out and did a bunch of jokes, which in a lot of circumstances is fine, but not in this one.
He's speaking he had a planned speaking engagement at this time with this women's business summit. But the White House communicated we're going to address this issue with this moment in time. The White House makes that communication to the press so that the press can carry for the American people what the American president has to say in that moment. What the hell is going on with this man? I mean, my jaw is open. And like I said, the FCC has some regulations keeping me from saying what I'm feeling right now.
I'll tell you, I thought maybe that maybe just the communication hadn't been there. But then once he got into what he said, well, now I'll tell you what I'm really here to talk about. He talked a little bit about the assault weapons ban and so forth. He said about 2 sentences about that. And then I don't really know what he was talking about because he was jumping from subject to subject. I don't know what was going on.
Maybe we'll get some facts from the Nashville police chief. John Drake is leading a briefing right now. Let's take that from the top, Hannah, and listen in.
Thank you all for being here on this very unfortunate situation. My heart and prayers go out to the families of the 6 people who were tragically injured. What I know at this point is at 10:13 today, our officers responded to a shots fired call to Covenant School. It's a church school. Officers immediately responded. A team of 5 immediately went in the school, went to where gunshots were being heard, and engaged the suspect. We have identified the suspect right now, tentatively a 28-year-old female white. We know the address of that person as well, and so we have some ongoing investigations as to that. We have 3 adult victims, and we have 3 children who have been identified, and their families have been contacted. Right now, I will refrain from saying the ages, other than to say I was literally moved to tears to see this and the kids as they were being ushered out of the building. I want to say thanks to all of our partners, to the FBI, to the ATF, and other federal partners, to the THP, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the TBI, the District Attorney, and to the Fire Department, who all came together and seamlessly addressed this situation as quickly as possible. I've already gotten a request from the national media about a great response. We're still assessing that as well. But what I can say, and what I've said before, is that whenever I hope that we would never have this situation, that if we ever did, we would not wait. We would immediately go in and we would immediately engage the person perpetrating this horrible crime. And so that's all I can say. Right now we have David Roush, director of the TBI, who will come out to me to address his portion. And then we have others that will say something as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Again, I want to echo what Chief has said in reference to the great support and the great teamwork that has been taking place here, and as well as sending our heartfelt prayers to the families, to this community of these victims. Now, I know there'll be people who want to criticize us for prayers, but that's the way we do that in the South, right? We believe in prayer, and we believe in the power of prayer. And so our prayers go out to these families. The role of the TBI in this investigation is we have been asked by General Funk to assist in the officer-involved portion of this incident. So the incident where the officers engaged the suspect, we are assisting the Metro investigation. And the reason we've got Metro doing the primary investigation is because it was a fluid scene. So there wasn't a single stop in the action. And so as they investigate the homicides, then we felt it was most appropriate for them to continue that investigation. But we will assist as in our role as an independent oversight on the officer-involved situation. And so that will be the role of TBI. We too want to thank all of our partners. It is special. We've had this conversation, unfortunately, too many times in Tennessee, and that is that you wish you wouldn't have to do these types of scenes. But when you do, you want to have the working relationships that we have in our law enforcement community here in Tennessee. It is amazing. And we've all come together as one and working very tirelessly. And we'll continue to work together to address this situation. It's a horrible, senseless tragedy, and we will be here working with our partners to get through it. And next, I'd like to introduce the District Attorney General for this area, Glenn Funk.
This is the ultimate crime when school children and caregivers are the victims of senseless gun violence. Can't say anything before we first express our concerns for the victims and their families and the extended number of victims that are traumatized by today's events. I came out on the scene today because our current operating procedure is that when an officer is involved in a shooting, that the TBI comes out, and I knew that this was a unique case, and I want to make sure that everything was handled appropriately. Director Roush was out here almost at the exact same time I got here, and Chief Drake had already been on the scene for a while. The three of us met and talked about how the investigation was going to be handled. We made a joint decision affirming what the two law enforcement leaders, how they wanted to proceed, which was that Metro was going to handle the bulk of this, but the TBI would participate in a capacity to continue with making sure that we have transparency and everything, and to make sure that any backup that MNPD needs in this continued investigation will be provided. Can't not stress enough how seamlessly that worked to have a conversation, a decision to be made quickly and appropriately as far as how the case was going to be handled from here. Hats off to Chief Drake and to Director Roush. I also want to thank Chief Swan and our federal partners as well. While I cannot comment about the ongoing nature of the investigation, Really impressed with the work that's being done by law enforcement.
Yes, good afternoon. First, let me just say, as everyone else, what a tragic day here in Nashville. So our hearts and our prayers do go out to all the family members and also the first responders that actually made this call. As always, the fire department and the Office of Emergency Management, our job is to support. And we were here at the beginning and we'll be here to the end. We just ask that everyone, again, as it was said earlier about prayer, we ask for that. And the ongoing support that's needed from our standpoint is to give support. And we'll just continue on with our mission and try to bring some type of closure and resolution. Thank you.
I anticipate there will be another briefing at or before 4 o'clock. We will entertain 2 or 3 questions at this moment before these gentlemen have to go back to the scene to continue their work.
Chief, you identified, did you identify the shooter in this case yet?
Yes, we have identified the suspect. It's a 28-year-old female white, actually a Nashvilleian or lives in the Nashville area. We are having ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time.
Located her place of where she lived? You have officers there?
We have.
There? Was she wearing body armor?
Was she wearing body armor? I can't say that far into the investigation. I don't remember seeing it, but I can't say for certain if she had body armor on or not.
Did she have any connection to the church?
From my initial findings is that at one point she was a student at that school, but unsure what year, all of that. But that's what I've been told so far.
Did she give any word on social media, or has her social media been examined at this point?
The investigations are still going at this point. Our federal partners, our state partners, we're all looking into that to see exactly. This is still fluid at the time, but we're looking at everything.
Did anybody pull the fire alarm? Do we know?
Don't remember a fire alarm going out. I was told there were kids that evacuated into a wood line. They had the presence of mind to do that and to go to a fire hall. Once we arrived on scene, we had everyone moved to First Baptist Church, Woodmont. And that way we could get parents and children reunited and then ultimately make the notification on 3 kids.
Do we know yet if the side door she entered in was locked or not?
There was a door that was entered. All doors were locked to our understanding, and how exactly she got in at this point is still under investigation. There is a vehicle that was nearby that gave us clues as into who she was, and but as stated, that investigation is still ongoing.
Did the school have school shooter protocol?
They did have protocol. To my understanding, we had, unfortunately, 3 kids that were tragically hurt. It could have been far, far worse.
Okay, folks, we'll be back again before 4 o'clock. Okay, thank you.
All right, that would be, I think they're Eastern time, right? Nashville is Eastern time, so back before 3 o'clock. So there might be another update left here before we wrap up. The Mark Reardon Show will certainly be on this as well. You've been listening to officials from Nashville, Tennessee, updating on the school shooting, which leaves 3 children dead, 3 adults dead. The shooter is also deceased. We're going to come back, take a quick break, and come back with more Annie Frey Show in just a minute.
Breaking news. 97.1, covering it live. KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our high temperature today is going to be a little bit chilly going through the afternoon. 52 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little peekaboo sunshine. Tonight, lots of clouds, keeping it cold. 34 Tuesday, real chilly day, even with partly sunny skies. Cold start, but only 49 for the high on Tuesday. 30 Tuesday night and Wednesday, sunny and 59. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the bagel loan guy. Stewie is a friend of mine. He's become a friend of mine because I was a client of his, and he is a sponsor of ours. I have 2 times done a refinance with Stewie, and I know that rates are up from where they were when I refinanced and lowered my rate each time I worked with him. But I had a scenario both times I partnered with him, and I said, this is what I'm looking to do. And I've talked to you so much about the bagel loan. The idea that you can access the bagel loan, only available with Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage, and pay 0 closing costs when you go through securing a mortgage, whether it's a refinance. If you need to refinance and pay off some high credit card debt, that refinance rate's going to be a lot lower than what you're likely paying on your credit cards, but also the idea that you might be trying to buy a home. You work with the best when you work with Stewart's American Mortgage, and he's ready to listen to your needs and to pair you with the services that are going to put you in the best economic situation. You can trust him. I trust him. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. With warmer spring temperatures, hang your clothes to dry outside instead of using the dryer. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We've been covering this breaking news as it has happened today. We've also welcomed Marc Lotter, Steve Moore, and John Jerome onto the show. Pretty packed show. It's one of those that keeps us on our toes, things happening live, and we're trying to bring all of that to you in real time. Here's the story of the day, the breaking news story of the day. Nashville, Tennessee, Covenant Presbyterian School. A 28-year-old female, white, if that matters, came into the school lobby, opened fire. 3 students are dead. 3 adults are dead. The police shot the shooter and killed her. And now we sit here and spin and do our thing and ruminate over one more time where this has happened. The Colorado, just last week. I mean, this is becoming routine. It's terrible.
Yeah, we have just lost our souls. It's a sad situation to be living through over and over.
It's tough to be a parent.
And that's where you put your kids in this situation every time. I mean, this one's even easier because my kids do go to a private Christian school, which is what this is. It's called Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. It feels a lot like this. Not that any of them, everybody's in different situations. It's just for me personally, probably you too, Annie. That's where my kids are. They're in a private Christian school, and that's where this took place. Somebody walked into it. It wasn't even apparently somebody who went to school there. So we don't know much about this girl, this woman, 28 years old. But this sounds, I'm interested to see what in the world they find on her and what her motive is, because we have no idea.
It's a Christian school, and female shooter, 2 things that aren't standard issue when it comes to school shootings. You expect it to be pretty much a troubled white male, right? In their 20s. People go, oh yeah, we knew he was like that. He was on our radar. That phrase is awful. So female. And the report from the officials that we heard right before the top of the hour here is that they believe, they don't know the specific grade or the length, but they do believe that she attended the school there. So it was a Christian school. Brad, here's a comment from our live stream. Maybe the church failed them rather than government.
I can't even with that right now. That is such a disingenuous, dishonest, ill-conceived, awful, scumbag comment to make. This is a backhanded shot at churches just because you don't believe in churches. I don't even see where this comes from. What kind of hateful heart comes up with something like that? Now is the time, right? Right now is the time that what we want to do is we want to dance on the graves of kids so that we can get gun control and so that we can knock down churches, because that's the right thing to do. We're the moral ones in this situation. You see how silly that sounds?
Imagine living in a world where you think that sin is not prevalent in a church. What's the purpose of the church if sin is not present there? And then ask yourself, as a Christian, if that happens to be how you identify. It certainly is how I identify. Imagine being somebody who's a Christian and using your Christianity as a measurement for everybody else and not yourself. Why is it, or maybe I'll just say, is this even a correct premise? For people who are not part of the church, many times people who have been ejected from the church for whatever particular reason, how is it so difficult to understand that a church is a collection of incredibly broken sinners?
You know, I talked to you about this a little bit over the weekend. I preached this past Sunday, and the message that I preached was on the thief on the cross. And one of the points that I made was, like whenever I talk about having faith and whenever I talk about going to church, I talk to people and I'll usually get a response that sounds something like, "Oh man, I'm glad you can go there. I'm just so bad that if I went into a church, the walls would probably fall down around me." I mean, you guys have heard that.
Yeah.
But that's like 100% the opposite. That's exactly where you should be. You know, when we talk about the church is where you go to find forgiveness, to find redemption. If you're perfect, you don't need forgiveness. You don't need redemption. You don't belong at the church. As a matter of fact, if you're out there and you have found a perfect church, I would say don't go because you're not perfect and you'll make it imperfect. The church is for imperfect people. It's for fallen people. It's for sinners. It's where we go to find redemption, to find cleansing for our sins. The basic tenet of Christianity is I'm not good enough. I am so broken that I actually deserve hell, and therefore I need a savior. That's what Christianity is. I don't know where this mindset of Christians are perfect people and they need to consider themselves perfect. No, we screw up all the time. The difference between a Christian and a non-Christian is we know where salvation is. And the goal of Christianity is to admit that you're a sinner and then show other sinners where that salvation is.
And that salvation is not with us. It's given to us.
That's people using the church as a surrogate for moral standard. So they're thinking, well, these people have a higher moral standard. Well, the belief is yes, but the people have not achieved that.
Well,
that's kind of the point.
It's an unachievable moral standard.
And it is an unachievable moral standard, and that's kind of the point of needing a savior to come and sacrifice himself to say, I know you can't do it. I know you can't do it. I'm doing it for you. And it's an important distinction because you're talking about the difference between the law and rules and a person in Christ who has come to have a relationship with you. And they're very, very different things. And in light of the news today, I would just add that you need to know not just the moral standard part, because the moral standard says don't murder. That's good.
Right.
Give me a reason. Give me a reason to live. You know, these are people who are doing these things. They don't value their own life at all. They're willing to give it up because they don't care. They feel worthless, and they think every single life that they take in the process of doing something like this is also worthless. That there is no worth in these people's lives, and that is a deep, deep problem that everybody faces.
All four of us go to different kinds of churches with different frequencies. And, you know, the four of us could probably sit down with some deep, super nerdy theological disagreements and hash it out. And it would look like we disagree. You know, it would look like that we couldn't come together to understand each other. It's not incredibly different than politics in that right, where you have people who disagree on particular issues. I mean, we're not going to get into it today because on principle, I will not get into it today, but the Second Amendment, I mean, there are people, I bet out of the four of us in here, there may be some concessions that some of us would be able to be willing to make that other of us wouldn't. And we could have that conversation. And ultimately, when it all comes down to it, if we go into a polling place and into the voting booth, we might still check the same box. But we get there from very differing places. I mentioned this last week, maybe. I'll be here talking about things, and the Democrats are the bad guys, and you know I disagree with their policies, and I feel like if Republicans were to regain the presidency, that our country, I truly believe that our country would be headed in a better direction. I believe that. I get it if you don't believe that. I get it if you think that this guy is doing great. I get it if the only thing that you care about is keeping Donald Trump out of office forever. I respect that you get in this country to have that opinion, which I think is, I'll just say it nicely, wrong. But we are going to hear in this instance, more than what we've heard in any other ones, that very sentiment. How could this happen in a Christian school? Have you ever gone to a church and served on a board? You're laughing because you know.
I know.
Have you ever participated in a church committee? Have you ever watched church leadership rip a church apart? Have you ever been in a worship organization and watched a pastor sit by? Man, we collect the best and the worst of sinners. And the truth is, at the end of the day, you either are good enough or you aren't. Just like Ryan was saying, and just like Brad was saying, you either meet the expectation or you fail. And you can get in a collection of Christians who confess weekly, perfect church attendance. They go to Bible study. They meet during the week. They do all the things. They are still broken people. This shooter is a broken person, and it is not without opportunity right now for me to tell you that I truly believe I fall on the same side of that expectations line as this shooter does. Imperfect. Damned to hell. Anybody who wants to engage in this conversation about the benefits of Christian education, how the church failed, how maybe the Bible isn't the solution that everybody needs it to be, and maybe we do need to look for a government solution. Man, anybody who wants to engage in that, don't take the bait. Use it as an opportunity to witness. If you're not a Christian, but you can still see through what they're trying to do there, don't take the bait. I don't know who these children were. I don't know who their parents are. I don't know who the shooter was. But as a Christian, it's really important to say we all need the same Savior. And that's what I believe. In America, I get to just say that on a radio show where I could be talking about the dumbest possible YouTube live chat poll I could have picked for today, which I have not mentioned.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I don't even want to say it out loud.
Yeah, just don't.
On any given day on this show, we work to have fun. We work to laugh. We work to, I always try to explain to people if they are newly made aware of my show and they're like, oh, what do you talk about? News, politics, culture, parenting, family stuff, anything. We can talk about anything, but we like to treat it like it's an exhale. We like to make this 3 hours of your day, whatever portion of it, if it's 5 minutes, if it's 3 hours that you can spend with us each day, we like to make it so that when you leave the show, you feel informed, but you're not all puckered up after the fact. You're not all tense and anxiety-ridden because the news of the day usually sucks. We try to make this a place where you can go and exhale. And it's really hard to sit here and watch as updates come from Nashville, Tennessee about 3 children who had their lives stolen from them today by an evil, broken person. And to try to provide that exhale. If you don't know what to do about it, all I'm going to say is pray about it. If you don't know how to pray, just sit and think about it and say, God, if you're there, I'd like some information. I'd like some comfort because I can't make any sense of this. That's a prayer. We'll be right back.
Rescue me right in the exact same way
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You'll complete me right, then my life can finally begin. I'll be worthy right, only when you realize the gem I am. But this won't work now the way.
So the Retirement Advisory Group led by Thomas Helbig has been a wonderful partner with 97.1 for a long time. He is your ally when it comes to making sure your retirement is secure. You look around and you say, gee, I can't really afford at this point in time, at this juncture in my age, I'd like to retire in a few years. I can't afford for the economy to take a drastic downturn. You partner with Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group, and then you quickly understand how he's helped a ton of Annie Frey Show listeners, 97.1 listeners, Mark Cox and Mark Reardon as well, make sure that their retirement is going to be worry-free. All you got to do is call him and sit down and listen to what he has to say. He's going to listen to what you have done or where you are in your retirement planning. And then you get to decide if you want to take it the next step further. And many, many, many people, most in fact, do. Here's the number to call, 314-993-9494. Call 314-993-9494 and team up with the Retirement Advisory Group. You can find them online. More details available at retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, I'm David Spade. Applause.
I'm Dana Carvey. Are we the host of something?
Oh, Fly on the Wall. Mm-hmm. Now, Dana, and I would never say this, one of Apple, Spotify, and Amazon's top podcasts of 2022. I'm just reading that. I would never say that.
We both got our break on a little thing called Saturday Night Live.
Each week we sit down with friends of the show and share stories and BS about the good old days of SNL. You can find Fly on the Wall, a presentation of Cadence 13, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
If you need a new fence or deck, experience matters. At Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they've been at it since 1968. Mark Cox here. If you want the sign you have the very best, go to Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Visit their extensive showroom there in Chesterfield. They'll give you free in-home estimates, no obligation, even free project design. Their fences are made in the USA. They're wood, vinyl, or aluminum, even steel and chain link, and their decks are beautiful natural cedar. Plus, they have that Vecadec vinyl decking, which is the strongest in the industry, with no maintenance. They also do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. You'll want to find out more about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com. Mention Mark Cox, and you'll get a special discount for the month of February and March. chesterfieldfence.com, or call them today at 636-532-4054.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
Stand on the box, stomp your feet, start clapping. Got a real good feeling, something bad about to happen.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Pulled up to the church, but underneath my mattress. Got a real good feeling, something bad about to happen.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We don't have more updates. No more updates. There's been a school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. 3 students dead. Preschool through 6th grade. They haven't given us ages.
Of the kids, no.
3 adults also shot. The shooter, female shooter, 28 years old, white, local to Nashville. Once was a student, but they were unsure exactly when is their suspicion. That's the details that we know right now, and we'll update you if any more information comes to pass here. They said that they possibly will give another update before the end of this hour. I'm going to mention the YouTube poll because we do it every day.
It's there.
And this is something that was chosen before the news of the day broke. So I will read it and you can go vote on it. It is what it is. How do you pronounce MAGA? You go.
MAGA?
Yeah, MAGA.
MAGA.
I keep hearing people say MAGA.
In the news or where?
I thought you were going to say in the nude.
Yeah.
I was
Are they
like,
clothed?
I don't. They probably. I mean, that would. If you're a MAGA person, you would say that in the nude.
MAGA.
Yeah. Have you not heard?
Honey, can you bring out the mirrors? I want to put on my MAGA hat. And only my MAGA hat.
That is so disturbing.
Gross. Did you say bring out the mirrors?
Yeah, they keep them away.
Yeah.
They just bring them out for certain
They're
occasions.
vampires.
This would be one of them.
They're vampires, so all you can see is the MAGA hat floating there.
That's why they don't wear
the
clothes.
what kind of
See?
hat?
MAGA.
We said that the people who say MAGA are like the feds that show up as white supremacists or the Democrat plants who show up as white supremacists at Republican rallies.
Don't tell anybody, but I was just having dinner with John Podesta. And he told me one of the greatest things you could do is pretend to be MAGA. Infiltrate them. Find out what they're all about.
I think they know.
I feel like I'm going to need a whole Wiggins America in that voice.
Oh, man.
You were doing it better than me.
Well, you stole it, so
I did. I
it's
stole
all
it from
yours
you.
now. Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's not important. It's not an important poll. But have you not heard anyone say MAGA?
Not really.
No, in serious.
No, really, where have you heard it?
On the news and
In the
clips
news.
and
Okay.
stuff I'm consuming, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Any particular station that's doing this? Maybe it's just a cultural thing inside MSNBC.
I only listen to 97.1.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I feel like it comes a lot from people who are using the phrase MAGA Republicans.
Okay. So they're using it as a slur most.
I don't think there are any Republicans who are like, oh, yeah. I mean, they say that they're a MAGA Republican, but it's only because they've been accused of it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Somebody has said you're a MAGA Republican. They go, I'm not MAGA. Or they are. They're saying they are.
If someone says it identifies themselves as a MAGA Republican, no, they ain't.
What do you think that Ted Nugent says? Is it MAGA?
Did you hear some of the things he said at this
I
Trump rally?
did. I could. Man, some of the articles that have been written about it were almost like they were parody articles. I think they almost intended to be.
Did you watch the Trump rally?
In clips. But
What'd you think?
Oddly, the first thought I had was not what you'd expect. It was that it sounded like he had a little bit of a cold. After that, I thought some of the things, again, I don't know everything that was said at the rally because I didn't hear the whole thing. But some of the clips I heard, I really liked. Some of the things that he was saying about, especially foreign affairs, I thought was very, very good in light of what's happening right now.
What was he saying?
He was talking about Putin and Xi and how these guys are basically saying, here's our plans for the next 10 years. And of course saying, do you think they were talking like this when I was in office? No, of course they were not, because you didn't see them doing any of these things. And I thought he had really good points to make.
Brad, did you take in any of the Trump rally?
Not much of it at all. I'm mainly consumed it through Twitter and what people were saying about it.
Through clips, what's your thought?
Well, most of the clips that I saw were about him going in on Ron DeSantis. And my thoughts on that is
Hannah, your thoughts?
I'm sorry, Hannah wasn't looking at me, but I can imagine the face.
Hannah's just producing the heck out of the show today, by the way. We have had a lot of moving parts. And you said going in around a station, she's like,
No, not today.
My thing is this.
No, not.
We don't have time for that. You know, like if you want to beat Ron DeSantis, don't say that Charlie Crist was a good governor of Florida.
He didn't say that at the rally, though, did he?
Yeah.
Did he really again?
Yeah, I mean, he said that.
Then.
Yeah, he's gone back and he's doubled down on that. And it's like, all right, find something that you don't like about him, but don't be like Ron DeSantis has done a wonderful job as governor of Florida. I thought Donald Trump did a wonderful job as president.
We have a lot of clips of Donald Trump saying so.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there.
Yeah. So, like, if you want to find something wrong with his policies or whatever, but I think the problem is that Ron DeSantis's policies mirror Donald Trump's policies so much that it's really hard for him to draw lines, which ironically, if you're going to go in on Ron DeSantis as just being an okay governor, he's governed like you governed the country, maybe a little even more willing to wield the power of the executive branch.
Maybe I think what Ron DeSantis has in his corner in that regard, and this is not a knock on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's biggest asset was he was an outsider. But Ron DeSantis is a very accomplished lawyer, and he understands how to use the law, and he understands, like, if any of us, I'm just making an assumption here, but including myself in it, if any of us were to step into office, we would need to surround ourselves with advisors who understood the power of the office, would have to be willing to fortify the agenda that we come with how do you, as a representative, as a school board member, as the governor, as the president, how do you use the powers that are afforded to you to accomplish this agenda? Donald Trump didn't have that from the jump. He accumulated people over time and got rid of people over time. I think that's one of the things that you could criticize him the most for from the start of his presidency, but he accomplished so much even in spite of that. But he just didn't have the strongest team going in. Ron DeSantis understands how to use the powers of his office. The left would say, oh, so like throwing government around to get things done. And then they will often point to Disney and say, you really like your government officials telling private corporations what they can do? That's something he's going to have to level with. But gee, imitation is most serious form of flattery. And when the Trump campaign is out there talking about how Ron DeSantis is like the rip and read of Donald Trump, that to me doesn't really make him seem like he's not like Donald Trump. I mean, if you like Donald Trump, then I could see how you would also apply that to Ron DeSantis. Did you watch any of the rally?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You know what's interesting is between those two, it is that they do the same stuff policy-wise. And we've never seen Ron DeSantis do foreign policy, but you know, aside from that, domestically, they're doing very, very similar types of things and taking on the same institutions, cultural institutions, which is why people like them the best. That's why they're at the top, is because they're willing to take on the culture, and nobody else is. Everybody else is very tepid about it. The only difference that I've seen between those two as far as governing goes is that you ask Trump why he does something, and he just is like, because it's the right thing to do, dummy. And you ask, and he's not wrong. And then you ask Ron DeSantis, and he's like, well, here's why. Like, he can actually articulate why he thinks that's the right way to do it. I think Trump feels it in his gut, and DeSantis feels it in his head. And that's same thing.
Ron DeSantis is a better politician, which Donald Trump would say, I know, as an asset to Donald Trump.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you can say a lot of these things out loud, and Donald Trump can say, this is what I am, and Ron DeSantis can say, this is what I am, and you're like, yes, both. Good. Who can win?
Yeah.
I saw Scott Pressler, who's a friend of the show, and he is the hardest working man in America when it comes to registering Republicans to vote and keying in on specific races like school boards and county boards and the Supreme Court election in Wisconsin. I mean, the guy works his tail off and talks to people and has conversations with people who are unlikely Republican voters possibly, and he just has his conversations with them. He doesn't convert everybody over to registering Republican, but you can't be successful in the Republican side of the aisle if you're not willing to do what Scott Presler is doing, and the guy is just great at it.
Yeah.
And he put a tweet out this weekend, and he said, I'm just going out here and saying this once and for all. I'm for whomever is going to win this primary, and I will work my tail off to help that person get the White House back in 2024. And there are so many. I love reading the comments, and then I get done at the end. I'm like, I hate reading the comments.
Yeah.
The love-hate situation. But when I read the comments there, person after person after person is like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, that's me. Exactly. Love Trump, but got to beat Biden. And if Trump doesn't win, I have no problem with DeSantis, or DeSantis is my guy. And if Donald Trump beats him in the primary, I'm happy to vote against Joe Biden once again. The sentiment is there, I think, in plurality, that is the overwhelming thought on the right. But those squeaky wheels on both sides of the Trump-DeSantis coin, because it is the same coin, people. One of them's the head, one of them's...
But
no, that's not what I was going to say.
Tails.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're going to say.
Yeah. There is a very concerted effort by people who I think I wish we could know. I wish that there was a required marking to say, I have received money or in-kind donation to promote a specific candidate. I wish we could know that.
Yeah, because that exists.
Oh my gosh, it exists.
The biggest voices out there, at least online, have taken corners, and you've got to think it's because they're being paid. Because it really looks like it. Because a lot of them would take hard turns out of nowhere.
And it's so frequent.
Yeah, and it is. Yeah, it's all they talk about.
And I don't care if you feel like there's value in that, and you want to be a part of the winning team, and you want to put your support out there. It's just like we get badges for so many other things. How about that?
And the other thing is that I'm glad to hear the comments because, and I think we did a poll about this, would you support the nominee regardless? It was over 90%. It was like 95% or something.
With like over 200 people voting.
All said, of course. I mean, I have my preferred candidate in the primary. That's what a primary is for. But beyond that, I will absolutely vote for whoever is the nominee. I feel like that is the majority of voices, but the loudest ones are the ones that you hear saying, no, it's got to be one or the other.
Very aggressively.
Very aggressively.
You don't have wear the uniform that has the name on the front. Wait to see what name you put on the back. Because I don't think we know the answer to that. We have many infinitely better options to choose from on the right than any that I can surmise on the left. Other than maybe Jon Stewart. Just kidding.
You point at me like I'm like, oh,
well, you're his biggest advocate. Are you getting paid for that? Is Jon Stewart paying you?
I can't say.
Oh.
And I don't have to. There's no badge for that.
To. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Well, we need to know from you. Again, we are watching the breaking news updates as they come in from Nashville, Tennessee, and the school shooting. 3 students dead, 3 adults dead. And we will continue to update that with any time that we have left here before we hand it over to Mark Reardon. I'm sure that they will be doing the exact same thing. The pre-show selection of today's YouTube poll is, how do you pronounce MAGA? You can go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We've only mentioned it a couple of times, and that's about all I have the energy for. We'll give you those results when we come back, wrap up the show, maybe with possibly, if we have time, some good news from Hannah. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. No, Hannah's not pregnant. I'll tell you.
Oh my gosh.
No.
None of us thought that.
I have to say it before anybody gets on the chat, because Hannah, you know what it's like to be a woman of childbearing years. And if you're like, I have an announcement.
Oh yeah.
Immediately. No, stop it.
My mom, if she's driving, just like whip the car up.
Everything is as it should be, at least in the context of the people here in this room. Mm-hmm. And we'll find out how we pronounce MAGA when we come back. You're probably going to change the station now. Please don't. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Come to the enchanted attic. Come to the enchanted attic. Come to the enchanted attic. And the mysteries of life shall be revealed. Gaze into a crystal ball to see your future. Breathe in the exotic fragrances of incense, candles, and essential oils. Adorn your body with jewelry encrusted with mystical gemstones from around the world. Why, many who enter the magical realm of the Enchanted Attic feel as though they have entered another dimension in time and space. But actually, in reality, they have just entered 304 South Main Street in historic St. Charles, home of the famous Enchanted Attic. This is Diane, and you need to come to the Enchanted Attic. It's mystical, magical, and a whole lot of fun. Open every day, free gift with purchase. You'll love this store.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing. We get it through our direct importer, no middleman connections, the foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's uncompromising quality, from hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings, only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom, with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees, and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
It's our Fish Fry Friday tour, the Knights of Columbus Hall in Cottleville, Friday afternoon. Come by and say hi.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
Man, a lot of people on the YouTube live chat apologizing to Hannah. I said stupidly. This is the kind of. I'm sorry.
This is on you.
Let me just put it out there like this. This is usually something dumb that a man would say. Am I right?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
That was a dumb comment in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You know.
No.
No?
Nope.
Not at all?
Guys are smarter than that.
I said when we come back, Hannah has some really good news. And then I realized after I said that the way you people normally handle, you people, get all the stuff out right now. You know what I mean by that. You people. People will assume that, oh, is Hannah expecting? No, she's not expecting. Absolutely not. Hannah, I'm sorry.
Not at all.
They're all talking about it right now.
I see those comments coming in on the live stream saying I'm glowing and all this stuff.
That's just because she's beautiful.
Bearing a child.
And neither am I before anybody gets all worked up. You can't I'm not past my prime anyway. So right, Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah.
I take back everything I said about men saying stupid things.
Yeah?
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Yeah, pretty stupid.
No, this is all on Annie. I'm just letting her just go on this one. I don't
Annie,
need
do you
to add
feel
to
like
it.
you're in your prime?
I felt like I was in my prime for like 5 minutes.
Which 5 minutes?
It's in the past.
Okay. Can it come and go? You know, is like a frequency up and down?
Monthly?
Yeah. Can it be like certain parts of the month you feel like you're in your prime, other parts you don't?
Well,
can I just read a comment real quick?
Well, I won't even go there.
Everybody.
No, that's too far.
No, go ahead. I'll just stop.
No, you do your
No,
thing.
it's okay. This can wait.
No,
we got plenty.
We were
got
having
6
a
or 7
conversation
minutes.
about what I experience monthly, and I almost started talking about it, and then I thought, no, nobody wants to hear that, including me. So carry on. No, I've said too much.
Ryan, go. What?
This is my show, and I will outlast you.
This is a very, all the comments have been very nice to you. Because what she said was, no, it's not that Hannah is announcing a pregnancy. And then everybody came on here and said, oh, she's pregnant? And then started complimenting, that you would make a great. Now, this is the best one. It's from Rover. It says, Hannah would make a great birthing person.
Oh.
Which I thought was very inclusive and positive.
Oh. Rover's totally a dude.
We don't know that. We don't know.
I am assuming it. Just by
Yes, you
virtue
are.
of the comment that is made. No, Hannah is not pregnant. She's seeing somebody very kind and handsome. She has good news every week, and it's called The Diamond in the Rough. And it's something that we do in partnership with the Diamond Shop because they like to spread good news that makes people happy, just like jewelry does. So we thought we would say some good news, and I screwed the whole
The
thing
Diamond
up.
in the Rough. Brought to you by The Diamond Shop. TheDiamondShop.net.
All right. A packed crowd at the Scotia Bank Arena in Toronto didn't miss a beat when singer Natalie Morris's mic malfunctioned as soon as she began singing the American national anthem. So there was over 18,000 fans in the hockey arena, and they were mostly fans from the other team, the Leafs. And everyone came together and they belted the words of the American national anthem as the mic went out. I love this story. We have audio on it if we want to pull that up.
Let's listen to this. Canadians, I might add.
Yes.
So that was in Canada?
Yes, that was in Canada.
That's super impressive.
I know.
Like,
Isn't that great?
If we were at a hockey game and the mic went out, would we be able to sing the Canadian national anthem?
I'd be able to sing "Oh Canada, My Country," maybe? Is that the next two words?
Home and native land.
No, that's it. That's all I got. I would want to participate.
If they put
to
the words
help,
up, I'm all there.
which they do. But I don't know. What are you laughing at?
Now I'm
Nothing.
reading the comments and they're saying, oh, Hannah has a diamond. That's the good news. A diamond in the rough.
Yes, exactly. Yes. It's not like that. It's not that serious. It's just a good, happy, everybody's disappointed in that really great diamond in the rough story.
I like that it sounded like there was a good portion of the audience who went, land of the free, and then there was enough people it sounded like they were trying to do it.
Like they touched their ear and put that note with a hand up.
Man, you people on the chat are out of control. It's completely out of
Ready
control.
to go home.
I hope y'all have voted in today's YouTube poll. For the record, this is a hard one to say anyway, the question to read, because by virtue of reading it, I give away my answer to it. How do you pronounce MAGA? So I'm spelling it. It's obviously MAGA.
MAGA.
You say it with the emphasis on the...
It was
like
more
a
of
Sega.
a duh.
MAGA.
Yeah. Sega?
Ricola.
No. Hannah? MAGA?
MAGA. I didn't even know there were... When I was reading the YouTube poll question, I accidentally voted wrong, too, because I was
So you're one of them. Fed.
She won that poll, didn't she?
I think she did.
What?
Who was
Well, we
most
asked
likely?
which one of
I
us
was
the
gone
Fed.
that day, and I remember checking the poll, and I was winning.
It's
we
really...
advocated
And
for
they
you.
were... I think the reason I won is because I wasn't here at work, but I was on the live stream.
It's really not always fair to do one of those polls where all four of us are the answer when somebody's absent, because we just all are like, vote
Dog
for that
pile.
person. Yeah, and you don't get to defend yourself.
Right.
You want to do the poll?
Yes. So it's asking, how do you say or pronounce MAGA? Do you say it like MAGA? Or how do you even say the other way?
I said MAGA as in bag. So the
Okay.
MAGA, or MAGA as
MAGA.
in Lady Gaga.
Ah, Lady Margot.
Lady Gaga.
Okay.
She'd probably say MAGA.
Yeah, she would. 83% of the people say it the correct way, as in MAGA. 17% of the people, apparently myself included, who voted in this poll, say MAGA.
She doesn't even know how to say it. She voted for it, but she can't even pronounce it wrong.
MAGA.
It's exactly what a Fed would do.
106, exactly. She's like, gosh, I don't remember this in my
man.
notes. It was in the file folder by my Corvette. The 166 votes total that are now 167, that means that over 28 people, 28.22, I might add, voted MAGA.
MAGA.
Did anybody comment as to why they did MAGA?
Accent.
I would love to know if they did. Speaking of mispronouncing things, by the way.
Clayton did.
Yeah,
Did
Clayton
they?
did. Clayton said MAGA pronounced like Gaga.
MAGA.
MAGA. Pronounced like Gaga.
Is how the coastal elitists say it. I'm Midwestern, so I say it the correct way, not in a way that makes me sound
coastally elite.
Right.
I kind of want to go to the coast now and walk around in my MAGA gear. See what I get. By the way, I was going to tell.
Admitted to clicking the wrong button. Yeah, me too.
Just like you.
It's just like any other election system. There's a little bit of error.
Right.
And the rest clicked the wrong button.
Mispronounced words from your Diamond in the Rough. I'm going to out this person without saying who it was. But the Maple Leafs, which is part of your story, there is somebody in my family who I will not out, who for roughly 50 years of their life thought it was the Toronto Make-Beliefs.
Man, I wish I knew more about hockey. Are the Maple Leafs generally good?
They tend to be good, but they can't win the cup. It's been so long since they've won the cup.
Is this person a big hockey fan? Are
you
sure they're not trolling you?
No, it's for sure. Because it happened at a sporting event where they go, I thought it was the Make-Beliefs.
50 plus years, so it has to be somebody like that's.
Is it Bob?
Your dad
I can't
or your
say.
mom.
I cannot
or
say.
your grandma. So it's somebody older than you.
Somebody older than me. Yeah.
I'm saying Bob Wiggins.
There's no way it's Bob Wiggins. Bob Wiggins is a softball legend.
Yeah, he's a sports legend in general.
My gosh. Tomorrow we are going to be at in High Ridge, Missouri, right in Hannah's hood, and we are going to be. She's the unspoken mayor of that town. High Ridge, Missouri. The mayor of High Ridge is listening right now going, hey. No, we love
she
you.
doesn't run.
You're great. I don't know anything about you. Heroes Care Mission Depot in High Ridge, Missouri. I am so excited about this. Heroes Care is celebrating the 20th anniversary. We're going to be there from noon to 3 broadcasting live, and we would love to see you. Come be a part of this. The Mission Depot will provide a one-stop facility for active duty and veterans to receive monthly support, benefits, legal assistance, employment opportunities, and so much more. Please consider joining us tomorrow. Come say hi, noon to 3, and support Mission Depot and Heroes Care. You guys excited to be out on the scene?
So excited.
I am excited.
It's always fun.
Yes. Long show today, short show today, all at the same time. The latest information on the tragedy in Nashville, Tennessee. We will continue to cover that here on 97.1. So please keep your dial right here, your Odyssey stream right here. The Marc Lotter Show up next.
Another glass of that rock and roll. Turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Ready to smell your best everywhere? You deserve a deodorant capable of actually controlling body odor, not just covering it up. Lumi is the whole body deodorant powered by science that controls unwanted odor for 72 hours on our pits, feet, and privates. We didn't create deodorant. We just changed everything about it. Lumi blocks odor from happening in the first place. It's aluminum-free and pH-optimized